What's going on, guys? I just wanted to talk about preparing for the MCAT. I know a lot of students are starting to prepare and I'm getting a lot of questions. So some key steps that you should be taking when getting ready to start your preparation for the MCAT includes one, making a study schedule. This is extremely important. You don't want to be waking up every single day and that morning being like, okay, what am I going to do today? You want to have that all planned out from the very beginning. And I suggest you use an Excel sheet. I have a template that if you email me, I can give you for making that study schedule. And then on that schedule, you want to be writing down the content that you should be doing for that day, the practice questions, which practice questions you're going to be reviewing. Maybe you're going to be taking a full length that day. You want to schedule that in. If you're going to take a full length, I recommend that's the only thing you do that day because it's going to take you about 7.5 hours. I don't recommend trying to review it right after on the same day because you might have heard me talk about this before. Reviewing is extremely important, so you want to actually spend a full day the day after, if not maybe a day and a half to 2 days, going over that exam, reviewing each question, why you got something right, why you chose a distractor, all those different points, and I'll make a more in-depth video later on how to review your full lengths. So again, this is what you want to do. You want to make a study schedule. You also have to choose your resources, and there are a lot of different resources to choose from. In general, the big companies, Kaplan, Next Step, Princeton Review, their review books are all pretty thorough, so some students prefer one company over the next. I think if you choose any of those books, and there are other companies I'm not mentioning, Exam Crackers, etc., you should be in fine shape. What's really important though is you do active studying as you go through those textbooks and do content review. You don't want to just be passively reading through a book and highlighting information and thinking that information is going to stick in your head. It's not. I see this mistake happen over and over again with students, is that they are just reading through the textbooks, they're highlighting, they get to an equation, they look at it, and then 2 days later there's no way they're going to remember that equation. So you want to be writing things out, testing yourself. Keep a running list, for example, of all the physics equations that you need to remember, and every day, or wherever it is in your schedule, maybe it's every 3 days or so, see if you can write out all the different equations that you have come up to so far. These are active learning techniques. And then when you see that you couldn't get a certain equation, maybe it's x equals VIT plus 1/2 AT squared, right? You didn't get that one, you're going to study it, you're going to try again, and then maybe tomorrow you can see if you can do it by memory. These are the things that you want to be constantly doing as you're going through your studying, is actively testing yourself however you can. Even if that's just reading, you want to be asking yourself questions as you read through a textbook. For example, why would the cell membrane be composed of phospholipids? What does this have to do in terms of steroids getting through? Like you just connecting concepts in any way that you can. So good, active memorization techniques. You also want to be using spaced repetition for memory, and I can make a whole nother video on this. I'm just kind of giving you a general overview right now, but you can use something called Anki cards, which really helps you memorize information long term. Because you want to continuously cycle back through information. Otherwise, if you study one topic in Psych Soc one day and you don't see that, maybe it's what's a good example, like the stages of development. If you memorize those, right, and then Erickson stages or something, and then you don't see those again for a month because you've been going through all the other information, you're going to completely forget that. So that's not what you want to be doing. You want to be continuously building upon information, and that might mean you're going to go through all the info at a slower pace, but you're going to be keeping it in your memory and working towards that long-term memory as you go through the information. And then lastly, you definitely want to be working on practice tests, practice questions, and as many practice questions as you could be doing, because not only is the MCAT about content, but a lot of it, I'd say 50% if not more, is being able to understand and break down passages and then use your information and apply it to those passages so that you can get the questions right. And the content is just the foundation knowledge that you need to have, but you're not going to be able to turn that content into points unless you practice using it in the right way that the MCAT requires of you. And the only way to do that is start to do questions early. Again, one of the biggest mistakes I see pre-meds make is waiting till the very end, to their last month, or even later than that, to start doing practice questions. And you don't want to be making that mistake. Especially also the AMC content is extremely valuable. Make sure whatever you do, whatever test prep company you decide to go with, get the AMC, that online question bundle. You can, if you order all their materials together, you do get a little bit of a discount, and you want to be working through that material at the very latest starting in the last month. But it's always good to look a little bit ahead and, maybe every once in a while use some of the question packs that they provide with you to do that material, because that's going to be the most representative of how you're doing. And if you really want to know where you stand, they have like 3, maybe I think they just released 4 now full lengths, the AMC. Those tests are pretty good predictors of where you're at. So if you're scoring, a 508, and then a 507, and then a 510, and a 509 on those 4 exams in the last 4 weeks, you should have an idea of where your score is going to be around. And that I get this question a lot too, is like, should I push back my MCAT date? I want to get this score, and I'm currently getting this score. Well, that should give you a good idea. Now, again, you have to be realistic with where you think you can improve by pushing back a test date. So if you are scoring around a 510 and you want to be scoring a 520, is pushing your test date back by 1 month really, are you going to be able to do the things that you need to do to have that big of a jump? If so, if you think you can, because you just really hadn't had the time to gone through all the psych-social content yet, or things that that can really improve your score that you haven't done yet, then you can always push it back. But a lot of times you don't want to start pushing back your test and then pushing it back, because this kind of builds up on a snowball cycle, and then you never end up taking that exam, and that's even worse, because then you spent 2-3 months studying, you push back the test, you don't take the exam, and you forget everything you've just studied, and this is a bad feedback loop that you don't want to be getting into. So usually what I would say is pick your test date, plan that you're going to be taking on that day, and then do everything in your power to study it to the best of your ability so that you can take the MCAT on that day that you chose. And work hard, do your best, start using the right studying strategies. Some of the things I've talked about in this video, I'm going to be making more videos talking a lot more about this and different active techniques that you can use. But it's a lot of the MCAT is what you put into it, and I know you're all going to be working hard, working smart, and I wish you all the best. Always feel free to reach out to me. If you like these videos, if you want to see more, please subscribe, and I will be pushing these out. Also drop a comment below and on something you want me to make a video about, and I'll be sure to get to it. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.